Yo, what's up, guys? It's Peter Sonic once again. Um, today we're gonna talk about Pokemon. How do you say that? No, I'm joking. Pokemon, particular Pokemon Sun and Moon. I didn't like the way I had to end that last video, but I was getting kind of tired and I didn't want to keep recording, and I ended it kind of in the middle of a thought. But I'm not going to continue on that thought. So today we are going to talk about the top five. Whoops, sorry. All right. Whoops. All right, today we're going to talk about the top five interesting, I guess, things we already know about Pokemon Sun and Moon, or at least we think we know. So I want to start off with number. I'm going to go from five down. So I'm going to start off with number five, and I want to talk about that we know it's going to take place in a new region. At least that's what it's made out to be. What kind of region, though? Many people say Hawaii, some people say South America, some people say, Southern Kalos, which would be like, South France, or not South France, but like, Germany or something. I don't really remember. God damn it, I don't remember that. But yeah, I think Hawaii would be the better option because if these games are going to be connected to Kalos, there's been a lot of connections to Hawaii and France and all that stuff from what I hear, like, the Hawaiian French Observatory and all these other things. And some people say that the region looks tropical from like, the concept art. Again, that's just concept art though. That's not stuff that's concept art. That might not be in the game. Keep that in mind, guys. That might not be in the game. That's just the basic blueprints. That doesn't mean they were just started working on that. They could have started working on that when they just started making the game. Who knows if that stuff's going to be in the game? That might not be in the game. You never know. So it might not be, the region might not look as tropical as one might think. So keep that in mind. It's just concept art. It's not anything that says, yeah, this will be in the game. It's concept art. So leave a comment down below if you think that it will take place in a region like Hawaii, or do you think it'll be like Southern Kalos, or do you think South America, like some people are saying? No, the Pokemon world has hinted at South America before. Remember when they said this back in the first Generation 1 games, when they said that they found Mew in South America? Keep that in mind. They did say something like that. So I guess South America does exist in the Pokemon world. Even though it doesn't make any sense, it still exists. I mean, it's kind of funny how Pokemon is supposed to be like a fictional world, but yet it has many real world references. Anyway, number 4. We know the legendaries are going to have to do with something with the sun and the moon. Why do I mean, that's just obvious. It's kind of like, I mean, I guess you could say it's not all that obvious. Like, Xerneas and Yveltal don't have to do anything with X and Y. Like, the letters X and Y, well, somewhat. They resemble Xerneas when he crosses his legs and his horns. Resembles an X, like his deer-like body resembles an X when he does a lot of things. And Yveltal, when it spreads out its wings and looks up, it looks like a Y. And Black and White. Pokemon Black and White, Zekrom and Reshiram are both black and white dragons. Diamond and Pearl. Now this is kind of interesting. But, Dialga has a pearl on his head, and a diamond on his head, and I think Palkia has like a pearl. So, all these things actually make sense in the end. Ruby and Sapphire might not make as much sense. And Gold and Silver make sense for Lugia and Ho-Oh. Red and Blue don't make any sense for any legendaries because those are the first Pokemon games. They didn't have any box art legendaries. So, yeah. Well, you can count Mewtwo and Mew, but that's about it. But Mewtwo and Mew have nothing to do with the colors red and blue, or yellow. So there's that. Anyway, I want to pick your brains about though. Like, what do you think the legendaries will be based on? Like, this is kind of like a speculation video as well. I think that the legendaries will be based on something with the sun, particularly the sundial in Anastar City. In the Kalos region. So when a lot of people say, yeah, we're on the next generation, we're skipping all the They're not going to add in those unsolved plots. They're not going to add in the new Zygarde forms and all that. I go, why do you think that? They have no reason and no evidence to say so. Keep that in mind that, yes, there is a sundial in Anastar City in Pokemon X and Y. The interesting thing about the sundial is nobody knows what it does. Nobody knows how it got there. In fact, if you actually look on the map, it says it might have been created by a mythical Pokemon. And it seems to be made of these sun shards, like these glass shards, like these diamond shards. When you think of diamonds, you think of Diancie, the Pokemon who is literally known to create diamonds. What if Diancie made the sundial? And then you have the whole Magearna theory, where Magearna is a robot Diancie. My only thing with this is, just because it looks like Diancie does not necessarily mean it's a robot Diancie. Sure, there's a lot of similarities, but I don't see why is it a robot Diancie? What would be the purpose of one? Because, they say Magearna was a Diancie that was going to be the Pokeball. What? Doesn't make any sense. That's like me saying Mewtwo is a... No, that's like me saying this. Xerneas is a robot Stantler. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you remember Stantler, the deer Pokemon, and I say if you remember because that Pokemon is very forgettable. I always forget about Stantler when I think about, popular Pokemon. That's funny. Like, you go, that's like saying Xerneas is a robot Stantler because the evidence people have for Magearna being a robot Diancie is based on looks alone. But that's not enough for me to believe. Because from what it looks like, Magearna has like this ability called Soul Heart. But we don't know what Soul Heart does. Sorry to burst your bubble, but we don't really know what it does. We just know it was created by the power of Mystery Science. We don't even know what Mystery Science is. Maybe Mystery Science is like... And again, we're supposed to get new Pokemon Sun and Moon information this month. So that's why I'm doing a lot of Pokemon Sun and Moon videos. But we don't know what Mystery Science actually is. People say that might have been the thing AZ used to build the ultimate weapon. I kind of have a hard time believing that. Anyway, just want to pick your brains, though. With the sundial being a thing, and we don't know what it does, Professor Sycamore says it might be related to Mega Evolution. But you might just be saying, well, that's just a sundial. That could be anything. That might just be a hint for the next game. That's what the game's going to be called. Well, no. They even say there's an NPC who says, oh, hello, trainer. Did you know that there's actually moon dials as well somewhere out in the world? Specifically, notice how she said moon dials. You do have to remember that, like, moon dials, more than one. Is there more than one sundial? I'm not sure. They don't really mention that there is more than one sundial. But at the same time, maybe there is more than one sundial, and, we just don't know about it yet. Me, I'm personally going with that there might not be more than one sundial, in the Kalos region especially. But there could be. There very well could be, and many people say that Diancie might just be a red herring that created because of the diamonds and stuff. We know that Zygarde might have something to do with the sundial, but I'm not going to go, that's for another day. That's not really going to go into too much speculation here. But it would make a lot of sense. Anyway, let's go down to number 3. We know that we know what the main items for this game will be. So obviously, for X and Y's reveal, we had the Mega Evolution symbols. For Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire's reveal, we had the Primal Stones. The Red Orb and the Blue Orb to reference Primal Evolution. We had all these things that would tell us, what the key items, what the stories, what these items look like, and what they could possibly do. With Pokemon Sun and Moon, we have these crystals. And one of them is a glowing, bright one, like the sun. And one of them's a kind of a dim, but purplish one, like the moon. Now, in the new Magearna movie, we can see that the main villain for that movie, has a stone inside of his staff that can force Pokemon to Mega Evolve. And when he does this, it makes them surrounded in this blue energy, and they look possessed or mind controlled. But then, what would the Sundial do? And is the Sundial in the movie at all, or at least Sun Shard? Or I'm gonna call it the Sun Shard and the Moon Shard, basically for now. What if, my theory though for this is maybe those shards are actually broken pieces from a Sundial and a Moondial that broke off. That's just a theory. A Pokemon theory. Anyway, what I'm gonna say is, I think Magearna, god damn it, Magearna will hold the Soul Heart. And that's why he's after Magearna. Because he wants the Soul Heart, and maybe Soul Heart is, powered by the Sun Shard. Who knows? But whatever these shards have to do with anything, from what we can tell from the movie, it looks like the Moon Shard can force Pokemon to Mega Evolve without a Mega Stone either. And he can do this to multiple Pokemon, not just one. All 6 of his Pokemon can Mega Evolve. You know how in the games and the anime, it's portrayed only one Pokemon can Mega Evolve at a time. You can't have like 5 Megas at once. Well, this guy's like 6 of them. And it looks like he's forcing Pokemon to Mega Evolve. And maybe that might be what the bad guys try to do in the game. And maybe, but at the same time, maybe you as the player can find a way with these shards to not force Mega Evolution, but you don't need a Mega Stone, eliminating, oh, you can only have 1 Mega, but now you can have all your Megas. That would be a lot. I mean, that would be the meta game would be uncrazy balanced. Like, you would have people having Mega Rayquazas. Some people would have, let's not forget about the Megas that could be for this game. Like, we could have Mega Dragonite for this game. We could have a lot of new interesting Megas. If we could have a team of 6 Mega Pokemon and Mega Evolve them all, yeah, the meta game would be pretty unbalanced. But we'll find a way to make it work. We always have in Pokemon, and we always will. I trust in the Game Freak to, even if they do that, to find a way to make it work. Maybe like you can't, and because Pokemon do take up a Mega Stone, but again, in fact, if these shards do not take a Mega Stone, that means you can also slap items onto your Pokemon. Like, you can slap a Life Orb onto them, and they'll be even stronger. Like, the metagame will be unbalanced, especially if you get, like, Mega Arcanine. Like, Arcanine's a badass. Yeah, okay. Anyway, number 2. We know that Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon simply are not going to be... Okay, we know that they have a new evil team. Let's be real, the new evil team is probably going to be interesting. I want to know what this evil team's goals are for a game like Pokemon Sun and Moon. But now let's go to number 1. The number 1 thing that we already know about Pokemon Sun and Moon is AZ will pretty much be in it. Why do I say this? Because we don't know the rest of AZ's story, and there's a lot of dialogue that hints at AZ returning. That and AZ's Floette and all these other things that were in the games but never really released tells me, yeah, we'll be seeing AZ later on in this game. But I really want to know, does AZ have any connections to Zygarde? And also, we can also make theories that maybe characters like Zinnia will be returning. All I can say for number 1 is, we will know some pretty important characters will be returning, and that's my favorite part. Anyway, if you like this video, leave a like, and comment down below and see what you want me to do more of. And if you really like my channel, please subscribe, and I'll be sure to pump out more awesome content for you. Anyway, I'm Peter Sonic, and I'm out.